Your technical work is absolutely excellent. But the rest of the team feels you are a bit cold. You seem very unapproachable and distant. Imagine sitting in your annual performance review, working so hard all year, and hearing those exact painful words from your director. That is exactly what happened to a brilliant colleague of mine named John. We worked together in a fast-paced, highly demanding corporate office. John was genuinely one of the warmest, kindest, and most deeply caring people you could ever hope to meet. Back in his home country, he was known for his big, generous heart. He was the kind of person who would quietly stay late just to help others finish their heavy projects. He had a spirit of pure, unselfish gold. But when he heard those words from his director, John was absolutely devastated. He just sat there, looking down at his hands, trying to process the heavy feedback. He didn't understand it at all. How could they possibly think he was a cold, distant person? He loved his team deeply and respected everyone. The painful truth was that the problem was not his personality. The problem was his English. When he spoke, he used the absolute shortest, most direct words possible because he was secretly terrified of making grammar mistakes. But in English, especially in international professional environments, speaking too directly doesn't sound efficient. It sounds aggressive. It sounds like you are building a heavy, freezing ice wall between you and the other person. Have you ever felt exactly like John? You have so much warmth, so much love and respect inside your heart, but the moment you try to speak English, it comes out sounding like a cold, emotionless robot. You accidentally hurt people's feelings, and then you feel terrible about it for days, wondering what went wrong. Today, we are going to gently tear down that ice wall together. We are going to look at 5 very common words and phrases that accidentally make you sound cold. And more importantly, we will learn how to beautifully transform them to show the true, warm person you really are. Before we fix the specific words, we really need to look deep inside your mind and understand the root cause. Why do smart, kind, and emotionally intelligent people suddenly sound so strict and rigid in a second language? In behavioral psychology, there is a fascinating concept called cognitive load. When you speak a language that is not your mother tongue, your brain is working incredibly hard behind the scenes. It is desperately searching for the right vocabulary. It is double-checking complex grammar rules. It is worrying about your pronunciation, all at the exact same time. Because your brain is carrying this incredibly heavy cognitive load, it automatically goes into a biological survival mode. You unknowingly raise what linguists call a defensive linguistic shield. Your exhausted brain chooses the path of absolute least resistance. It grabs the shortest, easiest, and fastest words to get the job done quickly so it can finally rest. On top of that heavy burden, we often fall into the dangerous trap of direct translation. In many beautiful cultures, being highly direct is a sign of pure honesty. If you don't know something, you just say, "I don't know." It is efficient and it is the truth. But English culture relies heavily on something called softeners. These are tiny extra words and phrases we use to cushion our sentences, exactly like soft, comfortable pillows. Without these linguistic pillows, your words hit the listener's ear like a sharp, heavy rock. Understanding this biological and cultural difference is your very first step to freedom. You are not a cold person. Your brain is just exhausted and trying to protect you. Once you realize this, you can consciously choose to slow down. You can choose to add those soft, warm pillows back into your daily conversations. Let us step into the first common situation. The phrase is, "I don't know." Imagine you are at your busy office. A colleague walks up to your desk and asks you a complex question about an important new project. You look at them, your mind goes entirely blank, and panic sets in. So you just shrug your shoulders, look away, and say flatly, "I don't know." And then a heavy, uncomfortable silence falls between you. Do you know what happens in that exact moment? You have just slammed a heavy wooden door directly in their face. To a native speaker, a flat, "I don't know," often translates to, "I don't care, and I am absolutely not going to help you." It instantly creates a freezing, unhelpful atmosphere, but we can fix this so easily and elegantly. Next time you don't have the answer, please do not panic. Do not shut the door on them. Instead, leave the door beautifully open. Look at them in the eyes, give them a warm, genuine smile, and say, "That is a great question. Let me find out for you." Or, if you want to be even softer and more professional, you can softly say, "I am not entirely sure right now, but I can certainly check on that for you." Can you feel the completely different energy in those words? You went from being a roadblock to being a supportive partner. Let us practice this together right now. Please sit back, take a deep, slow breath, feel the tension leaving your shoulders, and say it with me out loud. "That is a great question. Let me find out for you." Beautiful. You sound so incredibly helpful and professional. Situation number 2. The terrifying word "no" and the phrase "I disagree." Workplace conflict is always hard, but handling it in a second language can feel like walking through a minefield. When someone shares an idea during a meeting that you think is completely incorrect, the fastest response is to simply say, "No, I disagree," or "No, that is wrong." When you say this so abruptly, you are essentially throwing a bucket of freezing cold water over their enthusiasm. It hurts their ego, and it immediately puts them in a highly defensive position. In fluent, elegant English, we rarely say a direct no in a corporate setting. We use a powerful psychological communication technique called validation before correction. We make the other person feel truly heard and respected first, before we share our own different perspective. Instead of saying no, try nodding your head slowly to show you are actively listening. Then, warmly and softly say, "I completely see your point, but have we considered this other option?" Or you can use one of my absolute favorite phrases. "I understand exactly where you are coming from. However, I am looking at it from a slightly different angle." By speaking this way, you are not starting a painful fight. You are building a warm, respectful bridge of collaboration. Let us try it together. Relax your jaw, smile gently, and say it with me. "I completely see your point, but..." Excellent. You just disagreed with someone, but you made them feel totally respected. That is true elegance in motion. Situation number 3, the demanding phrase, "I want." This happens very often when we are traveling, shopping, or ordering food in a new country. You walk into a cozy artisan cafe in London on a chilly morning, you look at the busy barista, and you simply say, "I want a coffee." In your mind, you are just stating a clear fact about what you wish to purchase. But to the native ear, "I want" sounds exactly like a demanding, spoiled little child. It lacks grace, and it lacks basic respect for the hardworking person who is serving you. We must transform this harsh demand into a polite, elegant request. We do this by using magical modal verbs like would and could. Next time you are ordering something, smoothly change "I want" to "I would like." You can warmly say, "I would like a cappuccino, please." Or, to sound even more natural and effortless, simply ask it as a gentle question. "Could I possibly get a cappuccino?" Could I possibly get? It flows like beautiful, calming music. It shows that you respect their space and their effort. Let us practice this lovely phrase right now. Take a gentle breath in and out. Now, say it with me. Could I possibly get a cappuccino, please? Perfect. When you speak like that, people will naturally want to give you the absolute best service possible because you have treated them with such lovely human dignity. Situation number 4. The silent killer of conversations, the isolated yes or no. Imagine you are at a company networking event or a Friday evening party. Someone comes up to you, smiles warmly, hands you a drink, and asks casually, "Did you have a good weekend?" And you just look at them and say, "Yes." Full stop, end of sentence. The other person stands there, waiting for more, and suddenly the air in the room becomes incredibly awkward and heavy. Answering with just one single word forces the other person to do all the heavy lifting and hard work in the conversation. It makes you seem like you desperately want them to go away and leave you alone. To fix this common habit, we use a technique called the conversational boomerang, inspired by the yes and rule from improvisation. Whenever you answer a yes or no question, you must gently give the other person one tiny extra piece of information. Just one small detail is enough. If they ask, "Did you have a good weekend?" you reply brightly, "Yes, I did. I actually went to a beautiful park near my house. How about you?" By adding that one small detail and kindly returning the question, you have elegantly thrown the conversational boomerang back to them. You have shown that you are warm and genuinely interested in talking to them. Let us practice this rule right now. I will ask you a question. Are you enjoying learning with me today? Now you answer out loud. Yes, I am. I really like learning about... and fill in the blank with your own thought. Wonderful. You are naturally keeping the beautiful rhythm of the conversation alive without any awkward pauses. The 5th and final habit that makes us sound cold, the bossy and commanding, "you should." When a dear friend or a trusted colleague comes to you with a difficult personal problem, your natural human instinct is to help them immediately. You want to give them the right solution quickly so they stop hurting. So you look at them and say firmly, "You should do this," or "You have to do that right now." Even though your intentions are pure, kind, and incredibly loving, the words should and have to carry a very heavy, commanding weight in English. They sound like a strict parent ordering a helpless child around. It inadvertently makes the other person feel small, judged, and trapped in their situation. True advice is a beautiful gift to be offered, not a strict command to be followed. Let us offer our wisdom to them like a gentle, warm, and loving suggestion. Instead of saying, "You should," try phrasing your advice as a soft, open, and curious question. You can ask them gently with a deeply caring voice. "Have you thought about trying this new approach?" Or simply, softly say to them, "Maybe you could talk to him about it today." Maybe you could. That phrase is pure magic. It gives them total freedom and beautiful respect. It tells them, "I am walking right beside you. I am holding your hand safely, but you get to make the final choice for your own life."
That is what true supportive friendship sounds like. Let us practice this beautiful empathy together. Say it with me softly. Have you thought about trying this? So gentle, so incredibly kind, and so powerful.
My dear friend, as we come to the end of our time together today, I want you to remember something very important. Learning English is not about changing who you are inside. It is absolutely not about stripping away your true, beautiful cultural identity or changing your wonderful personality. It is simply about finding the right linguistic tools to accurately express the warm, caring, intelligent person that you already are. It is about aligning your English words with your wonderful, beating heart. Which of these 5 language shifts resonated with you the most deeply today? Which one are you going to try using tomorrow at work or school? Please, tell me in the comments down below. I promise I read every single one of them because your journey and your feelings matter so much to me. Take your time on this learning journey. Breathe deeply. And please, above all else, be incredibly kind to yourself today. You are doing a wonderful job. I will see you next time.